Wednesday, February 14th, 2018. Happy Valentine's Day out there. No, I don't want you to be my Valentine. I just want you to hang out for a little while and we'll talk sports from a betting perspective. Welcome to SportsBit. Betting insight today from SBRpicks.com. Like we do just about every day, we open the show with what segment we call Bad Beats, Bad Bets, and Bad for the Books. A thorough recap of what happened last night. There was a ton to talk about. No, I'm not going to talk about Nebraska stealing a cover in the final 9/10 of a second. That wasn't a true bad beat. This one was a true bad beat. Northwestern against Rutgers. Under. Bet from 126.5 down to 122. What happens? You know what happens. 112 in regulation. Game goes into OT. Good idea by the early bettors, but a bad outcome for the books. The spot where it lands 125 right between the opener of 126.5 to the closer of 122. The very first bettors cashed their under tickets. All the followers lost. That was a tough beat. A right side on the under in Northwestern Rutgers. A wrong result. Bad bets. How about the Heat Raptors? That game took a ton of under money, 207.5 down to 204.5. Both coaches really looking to manage the minutes of their starters carefully. Final set of back-to-backs before the All-Star breaks. And the two benches went nuts. They combined for 92 points. Three different Raptor reserves scored in double digits. And the game flies over 227. The closing total, the final result of the two with a closing total of 204.5. Bad bet on the under in that contest. Those Raptors, man, the depth for Toronto. We talked about it yesterday. That's the reason why the Raptors are the number one seed in the East before the All-Star break. Bad for books. I mean, what are we talking about? The Kevin Stallings era at Pitt right now. Everybody knows Pitt stinks. It's their fourth straight loss by 20 points or more. Last night, Boston College bet from -6.5 all the way to -9 at Pitt. 81-58 final. Kevin Stallings, you can see the pick. Not a happy camper. His Pitt Panthers team falling apart, and the bettors all over it, fading Pitt at every reasonable opportunity. More bad for books last night. The Gamecocks, South Carolina, plus 12.5 to plus 10 against Tennessee. They ended up losing the game by only 3 after a couple of real clunkers from Frank Martin's squad. Man, they play hard last night, almost good enough to get the win against the Vols. They did get the money. That was a bad result for the shops, with the money coming heavily on the Gamecocks. Another middle in college hoops with a total. LSU, Alabama, 148, bet down to 143, landed 145. That's an awful landing for the books because the early bettors cashed all the under money. The late bettors cashed all the over money. Not a good result. Books got pounded on that particular total. And then this one I wanted to talk about, Northern Iowa against Evansville. They were bet up from -4 up to -6.5. They won the game by 6, lands right in the middle. And you want to talk about a grinder? I love Missouri Valley Conference basketball. This was a true grinder. Look at the tweet from Pat Hickey. Final, Northern Iowa 47, Evansville 41. Panthers went without a field goal for the final 10-plus minutes and still hung on for a win. The Aces didn't shoot a single free throw all game. That's grinder basketball when the refs aren't whistling anything. 0 free throws for Evansville, yet they still cover the closing number. That's not a good result for the house. Another bad one, what do we call it this? Arkansas picked the -2 against Ole Miss. This was just a flat-out bad bet. This was a flat-out bad result for the books. Andy Kennedy announced before the game it's going to be his last season at Ole Miss. All right, team's supposed to be sparked, right? Well, the markets went in the other direction, and the team didn't show up at all. They fell down double digits in the first half. They never made a serious run in that contest. All the Arkansas money cashed, and after the game, we got this quote from Andy Kennedy, a meaningful quote when we talk about Ole Miss moving forward. Some teams have it for their expiring head coaches. Some teams don't. This is not a bet on quote from Andy Kennedy. After watching our performance Saturday, I thought, man, this is as bad as I've seen it in my 400 games. Until tonight. I apologize. I certainly did not want to go out like this. But as I said yesterday, my words are ringing hollow. I can't get them. I can't reach them. No. That's not a bet on quote for Ole Miss by any stretch of the imagination. We're sponsored here by BetOnline. BetOnline is a reputable sportsbook, obviously. That's why they have a real good rating at sportsbookreview.com. Doesn't mean that BetOnline is the only sportsbook we're going to talk about. We got a tweet yesterday from Josh Applebaum at Josh Insights talking about at BetDSI numbers for the Supreme Court ruling. I thought this is interesting to talk about for just a minute. The fact that we can bet on when the Supreme Court is going to rule on the sports betting case. That's fun. Yes, minus 145 for legalized sports betting. No, plus 115. And of course, the various dates where the ruling could be made. I don't know. There's no betting. No bet I'm going to make there. I might bet the yes. Minus 145. But the bottom line is, it's a fun concept. I appreciate a sportsbook putting up lines, bettable lines, on when you folks out there all across the country are finally going to be able to bet legally. Big game breakdown coming up next. Lakers and Celtics on ESPN plus 2 college hoop showdown. Stay tuned right here on Sportsbet. Betting insight today from SBRpicks.com. Like the show? Help us keep the lights on. Please make sure to comment, share, and subscribe to all the Sportsbook Review videos. Thanks so much. Best of luck. Enjoy the games.